the Dolans to just get the darn payroll to the middle of the pack. Please ask Mr. Derry to explain his comment that a $75 million payroll is too rich for their blood without referencing attendance, given a team has a losing record 8 out of the past 10 years.
Well, the Dolans aren't billionaires who use this team as as a toy. They are millionaires who use this as their main source of income, and they want to make money. They want to make money first and win second, despite what they say. That's the truth. And I believe that if this was their toy, they would have a $100 million payroll every year like Mike Ilitch does. Mike Ilitch is deficit spending to the hilt because he wants to win a World Series before he dies. The Dolans aren't going to do that. It's just not going to happen. And it's not going to help them to not have anybody go out and, to show up and support this team. There is an extra $25 million for every single team this year, supposedly, for from the new TV contract. And Scott Boras did a major dig right at the Dolans and said, because he's talking about representing Shin-Soo Choo, he wants, every team's got this extra $25 million, and we'll see what they do. Well,
so far nothing.
They're not going to do anything. It's just the way it is.
From a PR standpoint, do you think it's good for the Indians to say, well, we were in on that guy and we fell short, or is it better not to admit you were in on it? Is there any PR value to say they were trying?
You would wish that they would know better than to say, yeah, we want to. You would wish they would go out and say, yeah, we tried as best as we could, and we want to spend, and we want to get up to that $80 million. I don't think they want to do that. I don't think they care enough PR-wise to do so anymore. And I think they're just kind of.
You think it's good PR to say you were in the fight and then lost?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you?
I disagree with you. I think that. Actually, I'll tell you why I disagree. I think the perception in this town at this point, nobody believes the front office and anything that's coming out of their mouths. So if they said, "Hey, we tried to, get Yoenis Cespedes last year. We were in on him, but we didn't get him," nobody's going to believe it. I know that we said we were in on Willingham. We didn't want to go that third year. That also is terrible PR because it just shows that they weren't willing to give a guy one extra year. Where people, if you want to get rid of a guy in the last year of his contract in a third year, you can do it. It happens all the time.
If he gave you 2 good years.
Yeah, you're buying that third year to get those first 2 years.
Yeah, if it's a 3-year deal and the first 2 are good and the third one is not good, that's okay with you.
Absolutely. I mean, when you give David DeLucci 3 years, now that's another story. That's just stupidity.
216-575-0403. Sean writes, before the season began, I was anticipating what the Cavs could get for Verjao, but with his performance thus far, I don't think they should look to move him. Just too valuable. He'd be a great piece to have in a couple of years. What are your thoughts? My initial thought is he can't play at this level in 3 years, but what do you think?
Our entire offense is going through him right now, too. He's averaging 15 and 15. He's put up 15 boards in like 7 straight games. He's leading the NBA in rebounding. I don't think this level of performance is sustainable. He's also 30, or 29 or 30. He's not going to be able to do this for a few more years.
He's the guy you want when they're in playoff contention, but can he still play at that level?
We would also be historically awful defensively. We're bad defensively now with him. We would be even worse without him.
Let's go to Jim, who's in Metter. Jim, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jim.
How are you today?
Good.
Hey, talking about the GMs around, who do you think's in more trouble in the city, Antonetti or Chris Grant?
In trouble?
It's a very good question.
All right, good question. Let's explore.
I think it's clearly Antonetti. I think we've talked about this a little bit today in terms of Byron Scott, but the Indians are in a lot more trouble than the Cavs are. You're still giving a lot of leash to Chris Grant and Byron Scott. The Indians, on the other hand, I don't really know what direction
how about the opt-out clause now with Francona?
I was just going to say, here's why Antonetti is safe. Number one, the Dolans have blind loyalty to Shapiro and Antonetti. If he wasn't fired after what he has done to this team the last 2 years, then he's going to be here for a while. Number two, as Les just pointed to, they only got Francona because he's tied to these 2 guys. And there's a clause in his contract that says he's tied to these 2 guys. So I think Antonetti's safe as long as Francona's there.
It's unbelievable
which
that
is
they bought into that.
What if Grant blows another draft?
What's that?
What if Grant blows another draft here?
He hasn't necessarily blown a draft yet, by all means.
Well, I would say the Grant is the one who's going to be fired. If you say which one of those 2 is going to leave first, it would be Grant. A, if we get another top 3 pick and it doesn't pan out, and B, you look at this roster right now. There's seven players on it. The rest of it is garbage. Now maybe I wrote this today on the site. Maybe he's smarter than we all think he is, and he's tanking one more year to get another top 3 pick and hope you get a star the way you
Shabazz.
draft 3 straight. Yeah, you end up with Shabazz Muhammad, and you have Shabazz Muhammad, Deion Waiters, Kyrie Irving, and Andy, and Zeller, and Tristan Thompson. All of a sudden, you got a nice core. It kind of is reminiscent the way Oklahoma City built.
Yeah.
3
You
consecutive years.
okay with Deion Waiters?
Yes, I am. I think
Yeah.
he's going to be a good player.
He's a scorer. He's a James Harden kind of guy. He might not have that ceiling as what James Harden's doing right now, but
Right.
I'm perfectly fine with him.
I loved him in college.
Jim, what do you think the answer is to your own question?
I think Grant's in trouble. I hate it. I'm not really hot in his draft picks. He hit Irving, and that was a no-brainer. And the rest of the drafts I don't like at all.
All right, Jim, thank you. 216-575-0403.